Welcome back to the channel, folks, and to another battle report. In this game we're going to be having another match-up between Bulge German and Bulge American. I'm going to be playing German and Peter is going to be playing American. I'm using a brigade formation, but it's going to be two different formations in the overall force, a Panther brigade and a Panzer brigade, Panzer IV that is. So there's some really quite different tanks, but lots of them. And Peter's going to be using a Late Sherman formation, but not the veteran one, on the basis that he'll maybe be able to squeeze a few more tanks in there and maybe a few more 76s and jumbos and such likes. I was going to play Panthers again. I really want to give them another chance because the last game it was just one of those games, but I sold them. You may know already that I'm a commission painter, so I don't always keep what I paint, but if you're interested in getting something like that done, you can of course get in touch. But I do have 3 kits of my own still sitting there, so I will get them painted up at some point and give the Panthers another go. So we've got the overhead camera back and the on-table camera to capture the dice, and hopefully going to be doing it in a much less seasick kind of way for you folks. So I think it's an improvement anyway for what I've seen so far. So let's get started by looking at the all-important lists that we have brought today, and we'll take it from there. So here is my 2-formation Panzer Brigade force. We have the Panzer IV formation and the Panther formation. As you can see, the Panzer IV formation's got 2 platoons of 4, HQ of 2. The Panthers, 2 platoons of 3, HQ of 1. I would rather have an HQ of 2 for the Panthers, but to do so would have just taken the edge off my support options, so I decided not to do it. Now there's also a couple of mobile wagons there that are subbing in as Wirbelwinds. Now they can be, and I have to make this decision, but I'm not quite sure yet, they can either be a part of the Panther formation or the Panzer IV formation, on the basis that they might just help keep those formations alive. So either put more into my Panthers to keep them in the game, or acknowledge the fact that the Panzer IVs are more vulnerable and I maybe want to keep them in the game by having a platoon hanging back. It's not something I normally do, but there was 2 points going spare, so I'll decide for the start of the game. So there's the 2 formations, and supporting them we have first of all 3 flame hetzers. These guys happen to be the same points as Wesps, so you know I could take Wesps or I could take flame hetzers. Going by the fact that this is a very attack minded, go forward kind of list, I've decided to take hetzers, not to leave Wesps that can be vulnerable in certain missions. Those hetzers are front armour 7, no worse in side armour than the Panzer IVs, so it takes proper anti-tank to deal with them. If anti-tank's shooting at them, it's not shooting at my other tanks. So 3 flame hetzers, and then a platoon of Brigade Panzer Grenadiers. So these guys are reluctant, they are aggressive, and they're trained. They've got 2 Fausts and they are MG bases. So there you go folks, it's not a very well trained force, it's going to be quite easy to hit, but there is a lot of it and it could potentially dish out quite a bit of damage against both infantry and armour. Let's see how it gets on.
Well, I've got a US tank force, not veterans. The HQ of a jumbo and a 76, and then 2 platoons of 2 75s, 2 76s and 1 jumbo. And then as part of the formation I've got 3 Calliopes and 3 armoured mortars. And then in support I've got a small battle-weary armoured infantry platoon and 2 Pershings.
So your core stuff is a confident, aggressive, trained?
Yes. Yes, they are.
They're confident.
They're confident.
Careful.
Careful.
Trained.
Yeah, they're careful. as well.
But weary, so 5 up ovation, but 4
Yes.
up backpins.
Yes.
So lots of aggressive tanks
Aggressive tanks.
against
Yes.
aggressive tanks. So we'll see how it works out, folks. Today's mission is Scouts Out. We both chose attack. No, we both have tank forces, so we chose attack. There are times where it's to your advantage to possibly take manoeuvre as a tank force, because you might want to try and get an ambush. But we chose attack and ended up with Scouts Out. As you can see from the deployment zones here, it's quite simple in regards to how it's laid out, but terrain is important in this, obviously, because you need to be holding an objective but also moving towards an objective and to defend it, and then obviously attack to win the game by taking your opponent's objective. So you're pulled between the defending and attacking. So whoever gets to be the nominal attacker and choose the deployment zone has a bit of an advantage if the terrain is going to favour one or the other. Special rules are quite simple in this mission. It's a meeting engagement for the first player and a delayed reserve for both. So it can be a bit of a slow burner as both players have to move forward to defend the exposed objective and build up the strength to be able to push on to take one of their opponent's objectives. You get nothing in this game just for holding your own objective. You have to take one. And we've both got tank forces, which is 1 infantry platoon each, so it's going to be tricky to defend an objective with infantry. If you understand, you can only defend one of them, which means you're going to have an exposed tank platoon sitting on an objective if you want to go defensive. And exposed tank platoons, even if they're in cover and go on the ground, they can evaporate very, very quickly, potentially leaving the objective open. So it's quite an interesting and challenging game. You cannot be static. You have to be aggressive if you're going to get the win, and you have to be aggressive even to a degree to be able to defend, because you've got to move towards the exposed objective that's not in your deployment zone. So there you go, folks. Scouts Out. We need to roll off once we've deployed to see who's going to go first, but we'll cover all that off in the next segment. Right, folks, we're ready to start. We've deployed, and the mission being Scouts Out. Played that a few times now. I rolled off to be the attacker, so I chose this quarter here, and that places Peter in that quarter. This quarter is really good for infantry and really difficult for tanks. There are ways through, there are ways to move, but there's also a lot of restricted areas that are going to require cross checks. It's not possible to make it across here, and the minimum number of cross checks would just be 1. So objectives, we've got the 2 deployment zones, well, the 2 objective deployment zones, the one that we're in and the one we have to move to. So I placed 1 here and 1 here, and then Peter has placed 1 here in the closest point to his deployment, and 1 at the back where it's not too mutually supporting the other one. And then we placed alternate units down. What I've done is I've massed my Panthers here. My aircraft are just hanging back. They might be able to help the infantry, you never know. Infantry are in the half tracks. And then in reserve, I have got the Panzer IVs and the Flame Hetzers in reserve. And they come on anywhere on the back table edge. Peter, what have you got and where?
Well, I've got, first of all, I've got my HQ. It was 1 jumbo and 76, and then I've got 1 tank platoon here. My armoured mortars are here, infantry are here, and my Calliopes are here. In reserves, I've got 2 Pershings and another tank platoon.
Okay, folks, so this is a meeting engagement, so we're going to have to roll off to see who's the attacker, and the attacker won't be firing bombardments and we're firing at moving rate of fire. So Peter, you probably don't want to be the attacker well, going first in this game, but we'll just get a dice, folks, and we'll roll it off. Right, a 2 and a 3, so it's a high scoring game and I'm going first, but that probably suits you. You can get artillery on in your first round. German turn 1 movement. So I'm going to move away from a deployment zone with the infantry. It's quite often tempting to leave the infantry in a defensive position, but they've got half tracks, you know, so I'm going to attack, heading towards the objective beside the ruined church. The Panthers are going to take care of the front objective, be just like a big solid lump of good armour and good guns sitting across that angle of approach for Peter. So they're moving up to get as many shots downrange as possible. One of them fails a cross check though, but they're there. So German shooting is really just going to be these Panthers shooting what they can hit. This platoon, 2 of them can reach the Calliops, 1 can only reach the half tracks, the other one, two tanks can reach the half tracks. So shooting at the Calliops, 4 dice, looking for 7s, isn't it? Because they're careful.
They're careful. It's long, yeah, it's long range.
Long range, concealed, got on the ground. Oh, I'm only going to get 2 dice. I get a 5 and a 6, followed by a 6. So that's going to be straight to firepower. A 1, just a bail.
A bail out.
And then the other one is going to go for your half tracks. I think that's going to be long range. It is. So that's 1 dice, looking for a 7 again. Nope. And then these 2 going for the half tracks. No. Right. And that is going to be it for shooting. So this is a slow burner kind of mission, guys, or it can be, because delayed reserves. We've both got half our forces on the table, so for me it's really just getting a bit of movement, keeping the guys out of trouble, and then a few opening rounds I managed to get 1 lucky hit, but only a bail. So over to Peter for Yak turn 1. Start step, you've only got a remount.
Remount from a Callio.
Confident for
no,
2.
Fails.
US turn 1 movement. Peter is concerned about that move from my infantry and the fact that he has to cover that objective, so he's going to move his platoon of Shermans into the area around the church, but like we mentioned before, there's lots of cross checks here and only 2 make it over. Now Peter's figuring out the extent of the immediate threat of my infantry, and he's going to want to bring some of his own infantry up to support his tanks, get into the house with the blue roof which is next to the objective, and then leave the remainder of his infantry on the objective they are currently covering. His HQ Shermans are still going to keep out of sight, waiting for their opportunity to start messing with my Panthers.
So I'm only got the only shooting I think will be my artillery. So my mortars are going to try and range in on that hedge there.
Right.
Try and get in. So I think they'll be they're covering terrain. They're trained. It'll be 5 to range in. So first attempt.
Okay. First half track.
First half track.
You need a 3.
3. Second. Can I see them all?
Yep.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. So 4 saves to make. So the first guy rolls a 3. Next guy a 5. Next guy a 3, and then the command rolls a 1, so you can potentially bail him out.
And a 4 up. No.
Right, okay, so he's okay then.
Calliops are going to try and range in on your Panther tanks.
Okay, Panther tanks down here, folks. So you will need...
They're trained as well. So the 5 again.
Yep, you should be able to capture all of them.
So first attempt. First attempt.
Okay, so first Panther. You'll need a 3.
Okay, 1. Yep. No. Yep. And then
Again. Nope, and then the commander. Right, so say for the first guy he rolls a 3. Second guy rolls a 4, third guy rolls a 5, and then the second platoon 1 hit rolls a 5, so they're okay.
Yeah, right, okay. And I think that's all the shooting that I can do.
Right.
The only movement I did, I tried to move up this tank platoon. 3 of them failed a cross check to get across the wall. Got 2 objectives. I've left some infantry here and sending some up to protect that objective. Here, these tanks are just trying to stay out of the way of the Panther tanks.
German turn 2, and not a lot of movement here, folks. No, you don't have a lot on the table to start with. So I'm just getting my Panthers lined up in a nice straight line to keep shooting down range and try and whittle down Peter's artillery. My infantry are just going to ground in the half-tracks. Okay folks, to start the shooting it's going to be, well, in fact it's probably just going to be the Panthers. 2 of this platoon are in range of the Calliope, so they'll have 4 dice looking for 6s. No hits. The company commander's joined them. He's going to fire 1 shot, he gets a 6. Right, you want to try mistaken target that onto the
build one?
Yeah.
Yeah, try that.
And you do, yeah. So he's bailed again.
Bailed again,
so a remount check, he's fine. Right, and then the other one in that platoon is going to go for your half tracks and it'll be at long range. He gets 1 hit, so that'll go straight to firepower. Yeah. Oh, it's another bail. I want to get the one that can see most easily down here, so that one there. Right. Now the other platoon is going for them. 2 of them moved. Sorry, 1 of them moved, 2 of them are stationary. Oh, for goodness sake. Right, 2 more hits on them, so that'll be straight to firepower. Yeah. You can mistake target though.
Well, okay, I'll try that.
And you do. So which one do you want to jump off? Which one do you want?
This one on
right.
him.
So the bailed guy, I kill him, and then the guy nearest to me, I bail him. I seem to be rolling a lot of 1s and 2s. Right, and to be honest, that is going to be it for shooting. So German turn 2. I've got stuff to fire at, so there's not a lot of movement. I'm keeping these guys in their half tracks because they're scared of the mortars. And then, as is quite often the case in these kind of games, your artillery can end up in a bit of a shooting gallery because they're not necessarily able to get themselves in a solid defensive line. So these guys did quite a bit of damage. Maybe could have killed more with successful firepowers, but there's 1 half track definitely gone, 1 bailed, and obviously 1 bailed Calliope that is refusing to leave.
Try and remount the mortar there. 3 is not enough. So that'll be a last time. I'll try and remount this guy.
Yeah, the Calliope. He's loving it.
Okay, that'll be our last stand. So he's away.
So 1 gone, 1 becomes a wreck, and that can happen with artillery in these missions, folks. It's one reason why I've got a tank list here, and I've not brought any artillery. I've brought flame tanks instead. US turn 2, and Peter is still trying to get his tanks forward around the church, so more cross checks required, and he's eyeing up a sneaky side shot on my Panthers, which has got me a bit worried, I have to say. The remaining Shermans have passed the cross checks and they're now moving up to join the first 2, and the infantry are continuing to move towards that blue house, so Peter's getting a nice strong defensive base around that objective. And it's time for the HQ to peek out just enough to pick off the end of my line of Panthers, not enough so that I could get a great many shots back at him, and he's been careful to leave the jumbo in the most exposed position.
Okay, so shooting. I think I've got 1 shot through the...
Yeah, your line of sight's been blocked by a dice tray now, but that's okay. Like, what is the range? Is it short or long? So it's long range, so you're going to need 6s because I'll be going to ground. I didn't join the last time.
Got to ground concealed.
And if you've got stabilisers.
Stabilisers, yes.
Yeah,
so
7s. No.
So infantry not shooting. The Calliopes will...
You're ranged in again, so...
Ranged in, so they'll try and...
Okay. So we should have been re-rolling these last turn, folks, we forgot, but they're fine this turn. So company commander, he's hit. Next guy
is missed.
Right, next guy.
Missed. Hit.
Then
hit.
Yep.
Hit.
Yep.
Hit.
Right, okay, so company commander rolls 5. First guy in that platoon gets a 4, and then it's 1 each on the other platoon. It's a 5, a 3, and a cocked. A 2, so that'll be okay though.
Okay.
Right, and now your company command?
Company command, yeah, so they blitzed the... He's going to fire, he'll fire smoke.
But you're shooting that unit?
With the
With the smoke, so you're looking for 5s. Oh, alright.
Um,
And then
there he's
shooting at the
concealed,
HQ.
it's short range, so
Force.
3 fours. 1 hit.
One hit. So it's 10 against 12.
Yeah.
4.
Okay, so movement, just moving my tanks up, they all crossed, managed to cross check there. Continue moving the infantry up towards this objective. In the starting step, I failed to remount with my build mortar, and they decided to run away, and managed to bail back in my Galliope. HQ is just sort of scooting about. They managed to blitz and get some shots at the Panthers, but they did no damage.
The only starting step thing I have to do, folks, is reserve. So, God, for goodness sake.
Got them.
They're coming on, so there'll be some Panzer IVs arriving. German turn 3 movement, so my reserves have arrived and I'm bringing them on behind that red house there, out of line of sight again. 4 Panzer IVs going up against those Shermans with better front armour, some good anti-tank. You know, I'm playing it careful, including keeping my infantry in their half-tracks and going to ground at this time. But I now have to consider the potential flank shots, so one platoon is moving around a hedge to get beside the building. There's a gap where that wheat field is, and then the other platoon, I just have to consider what to do with them. So I've decided I'm going to move them out into the wheat field, looking down range at the Shermans beside the church. They've got such a long range, the Panthers, 40-inch range, that they can have such a long reach in the game. So German shooting turn 2. These guys are going to have a go at the HQ. So as one of them can only see the jumbo, the one on this side. You can see a bit of the fender, but it's not enough to target him. So I'll fire him first. Gets a 1. And then the other 3 can be assigned accordingly. So they will need 3s, right? Okay. Because you're the trained aggressive types. Oh well.
Oh,
so I want to try and put
2 in that.
What are the front armour on them?
6.
Right, in that case, I
7.
want to put 2 in the jumbo then.
2 in the jumbo?
Yeah, because I'm straight to firepower, so you can try and swap that around to keep your jumbo on 1 save.
So my front, the jumbo's 11 against 14. So no, I think I'll keep it. Keep both in the jumbo.
Okay, so cup half full moment. 2 saves in the jumbo.
Right.
And the cup is half full, so that's going to be a potential bail.
Yeah, potential bail.
I'll roll a 6, so he's bailed out.
And then
Second in command. Oh, I can't bailed. He's bailed. My firepowers are not as good as my shooting. So the other tanks are going long range. They're in range of the Shermans moving by the church, which are just on camera over here. So I'm going to need 5s then if you're aggressive.
Just for maybe 6s.
3 normally, 4 range, 5
concealment.
concealment.
And 5s.
You're too used to playing
veterans and
careful guys.
Yeah.
Right, 1 hit. So I'm going to try and avoid the jumbo and get it on that 76. So you can try
I'm
and.
going to try and swap it to the jumbo.
And you do. So you'll be a 12 against 14. I'm not past your front there, so you're okay. And you're fine. Okay, and that is going to be it for shooting. So on my turn, folks, I'm getting my infantry in the half tracks just now. They're in a good position to make a move. I'll just keep them as they are. My reserves came on, I was lucky in that respect. Here I wanted to get off the road because I was exposed to side armour and also to keep pushing forward with a big juicy target. And I managed to get 3 hits on them, but as you can see, there's only 2 bailed, so they're actually loving it. And then down the other end, the jumbo did its job. I took 1 for the team and laughed it off. So over to Peter for his turn, when we'll be getting potentially some reserves. The motivations, getting the jumbo back in. 3 up needed, I'll do it.
And then,
Right, so company HQ is loving it. And then I think that is it.
Yeah.
So reserves.
Reserves. Here we go. Oh,
Not
so
this
close. That was so close.
US turn 3, and Peter is still playing cat and mouse around that wood with his HQ, trying to minimise the amount of shots that could potentially go back at him. And his infantry are going to keep piling into that house to get his defensive position set. More cross checks for the Shermans to keep moving through that rubble strewn area. It goes okay, and in some cases not okay in others. The jumbo's stuck behind the fallen church steeple, but he's just trying to keep them there. They're in danger from the Panthers, but there's not much he can do about that, and he's just trying to get some shots on my gone to ground half tracks.
Okay, so over here.
This is pre-arranged in, so that one's hit, that one's hit, and then two over here.
It's hit. And oh, I could do it there.
Hit. Okay, so all hit this turn. Let's see if they're on the save. So that's company commander, whole heroes a 1. The platoon commander rolls a 2, so he's okay. Then the other platoons a 2 and a 6, so they're okay. So chance to bail out the company commander.
So it's a 5 up.
No. Right, and then
okay, shooting here.
coming around the corner.
Yeah, do I? Trouble is, if I fire smoke, then I'll have to fire through the smoke.
That'll make it harder to hit. If you do fire smoke, I'm harder to shoot you back.
Let's not do let's not do that. Let's just fire this guy. So it's range wise, it's long range, isn't it? It's long.
It's in the open. So force. 5 for the stabilisers.
5 for stabiliser. 1 hit.
A 4, so he's okay.
Okay. And then that one leaves this guy here shooting long range, can see it's so 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 is because of the range in the corner ground.
And the stabiliser? Oh no, he didn't move.
No, so you're okay, you just need 6s.
No
hits.
And that's
For shooting.
That's all okay, that move didn't achieve all that much. These two tanks managed to bail in, and they've just moved around here to get some shots at the Panthers. The infantry have moved into this building just to get a bit of cover on the objective. The tanks are just moving about here, not doing much. I did get 1 shot, but missed 2 shots.
So you need some reserves and get some Persians in.
Yes. Next time.
So my starting step is going to be 2 dice for reserves.
Oh.
Here come more Panzer IVs, I think. German turn 4 movement. So my second platoon of reserves have arrived. They're coming in nice and quick, as you can see. Now, I want them all to go as a solid lump against that Sherman platoon. So I'm just gathered them all out of line of sight once again behind the big red roofed house, ready to head off together. The infantry staying on the ground at the moment. They're going to need a bit of support to be able to push through against the tanks and defending infantry. Now my Panthers, they've moved forward a little bit, so there's a risk to their flanks, especially with this little HQ platoon. So I've kept 1 Panther stationary, moved 2 others to deal with the HQ behind the wood there. The other ones are going to move out, as you can see, to keep shooting down range. Once again, still worried about my flanks. And then for motivation, I'm going to put my HQ between the 2 platoons. It's going to potentially expose him very much so on the flank, but they really need some motivational support, shall we say, these reluctant Panthers. So it's a bit of a risk that I need to take. Shooting. I'm going to start with this lot,
right,
and this lot down at the end. So the long range, so we're looking for 5s. 3s, 4s, 5s. So that's 1 hit. You can try and stick it on Mr. Jumbo.
No.
So it's going to go on That's 76. So
78. Can I beat it?
you can get a bounce. Oh. There you go, you bailed. I can only bail you. Right, and then the company command's going to get a single shot. Not like that, he isn't. Right, then over here is going to be 4 dice.
4 shots.
Looking for 3s. Because I will be.
I think, is this one long? I think this was long range, was it? Because I was long range from you. Oh, no, it is. No, it's.
That's short. Just the one. So I want to hit the 76. You can try mistaken target. And you do, so try and bounce the
6 would be.
chance to bail. 4, yep, he's bailed. Right, and that is going to be it for shooting because everything else is getting in a position to move forward. So folks, we're just total brain fart there, remembering what turn we're on. We reckon it's turn 4. The editing will confirm to me or not. So this turn I've got more reserves on. I've got a big lump of Panzer IVs. I will definitely get one more unit of reserves on next turn, so I'll be in a position to make a move on this platoon. Those guys have got 7 points armour on the front against anti-tank 11, so I'm being a bit of a scaredy pants. Over here, I wanted to protect my flank and try and get some shots on them. Didn't go too well, but I managed to get a bail. And then down here, keeping pressure on those guys again. Nearly got one, but once again, a bail. I've got a lot of failed firepower so far in this game. But there you go. Starting to heat up now. I might even, depending on where the reserves come in, etc., start pushing on 2 objectives, but I might be asking too much. Right, so start step.
My jumbo over there.
HQ.
HQ, these guys are hero.
He does, aye, so I'll do it. He's a 3.
This guy.
He'll need a 3.
Oh, that's not. Oh. It's a bouncy little tray, this. Oh no, he's still bailed.
See, it's a special magic tray that kicks out 5s and 6s. Reserves, you get 2 dice now. And here they come. So lots of tanks arriving. This is what I've been waiting on. US turn 4 movement, and Peter's got what's probably the best outcome with reserves like that. If you've got 2 platoons, it's having both platoons coming on at once, especially after your opponent has had time to move forward. So he's just figuring out the best way of getting flank shots onto my onto my Panthers. His Sherman's got anti-tank 12. There's no HV AP, so hitting me in the front is a lot tougher. He's got his Persians for that. He couldn't quite get around the flank of my forward platoon with the Persians because of the wood. Otherwise that could really hurt. But the platoon and the company HQ are going to get in a position to get some flank shots, especially on my company HQ. And there's more cross checks and more little adjustments, readjustments around the church to get the best firing positions. This is the Calliops try to range in.
Nope.
It's a 4, a 1, a 3.
No. Range in.
Right, next.
Next, I've got 2 shots over here, but are we
Short range.
short range or not?
I think so.
Yes.
Right, short range, so that'll normally be 3s, 4 because I've got on the ground, sorry, 5 because I've got on the ground and concealed, 6 for your stabilisers.
Yes. Oh, no, two near
5
misses.
and a 5.
2 near misses. Over here, right, we'll start with the big guns.
Here comes the pain.
So I'll just
2 dice on
2
3s.
dice and 3s. That's
A 2 and a 2.
no.
Here comes the pain. I didn't say for who.
Can I re-roll that?
No, but you're not finished yet.
No. All right. So the HQ will.
So you've got side shots potentially on my HQ, but I can attach on.
So let's do. Yeah, let's do the HQ first.
Right.
So,
okay.
Does Jumbo have stabilizers? It does. Right.
So normally 3s, 4 concealment, 5 stabilizers.
So the 76.
Right. It's 5 and a 5. So we can see them, and then the 75. A 2 and a 3. Well, you got the hits you really needed there. So I can try to join into a platoon. I join in that one, see if I can mistaken target though. So it's going to be 2 hits on him, right? If I mistaken target, it goes 2 hits on somebody else.
Right.
Because you swap hits.
Right. You don't have to then. Oh no, he's not joining He's not joining that platoon.
No, it's just being available to have mistaken target. Not like the old sort of V3. Right. Okay. So I want to put 2 on that guy. Right. So your anti-tank is 12. 2 chances to bail. A 3 and a 4, so I've got to make a remount. And I roll a 3, so he is goner. Right.
Alright, so let's just check what these tanks can see.
I think we were being a little bit kind of version 3 in our language there, folks, when we're talking about the HQ being targeted. If you want to see what the rules are, go straight to it. Page 57 from the shooter's point of view and page 58 from the target's point of view. That should make it nice and clear what we're trying to say.
So he's...
Jumbo, I would say you can see me.
But it's maybe...
Well, no, you can see enough of it to target it, so
yeah,
it won't be through the wood. Not the Jumbo, sorry, the 76 here.
right. Okay, well, the 2 75s here will shoot at this guy.
Right.
So they'll be...
5s again, because you're moving.
Again, and there's short range 5s. Oh,
Bloody
terrible.
Pile of crap.
Shooting.
And then the 76s into the platoon.
Yes, it's whether to shoot at him or go for. So, who was he? Is that one platoon there? Well, the 276s will shoot at these 2 guys.
5s again this turn. 1.
1 hit.
Right, so a 2 again. Chance to bail him. Spelled it. That's me roll 3 2s.
It's about time. It's about time you did.
Well, I'm being rolling 2s, but for my firepowers. Right, so which one are you aiming at?
I think I'll do that one.
Right, I'm going to try mistaken target it just to try and keep him in command distance. And I do, so it's going to go on him.
Okay. That leaves the Jumbo. I don't think he can do anything. Okay, that turn didn't go fantastically. I got my 2 reserves on, so they came on. I failed to bail that tank back in. Shooting, I tried to range in here with the Calipes, but failed. My 2, they both failed their shooting, no hits in the Panthers. I got hit over here, which bounced onto this tank from the 76s.
Oh, it was Company HQ.
It was Company HQ. So 1 destroyed there, and then 276s here managed to bail out another one there. Not fantastic. I'll probably get a lot of hurt this turn.
He probably should be dead, and then again him maybe just bailed out. But all these 2 up, anti-tank 12 against front armour 10. Come on, guys. There's various degrees of reluctance, and you're really pushing it. 5 up, reluctant, remount.
You'll get it.
Potential last stand as well. So,
A reroll, get a reroll.
3, 2, no. So last stand. No, so they've gone.
Oof.
See, but that's the thing about these 3 tank reluctant platoons.
Yeah.
It can just. That's why I consider the main threat to them. One of the main threats, anyway, apart from getting shot on the side, is artillery bailing them out, making them run away. So 1 gone, 1 wreck. I'll sort it out, and then it's just going to be 3 dice for reserves. So 1 more's coming on. I'll sort it out in just a minute. German turn 5 movement. So it's time to get these Panzer IVs on the move. They've got the company HQ coming up this turn. That'll give them some motivational support. So I just have to try and get as many of them shooting down this quite restricted channel as possible against the Shermans and hope the return fire isn't too devastating. My Panthers are redeploying to protect that vulnerable side armour from particularly from the Shermans. The Persians can kill me on the front, but I'm certainly at a great risk from those Shermans if they can keep advancing around my flanks. Okay, so for shooting I'm only going to have 3 shots here, so what am I going to go for? I think I have to go for the platoon because it's got most 76s in it. So, short range.
Can you get them all? These two maybe you can't hit
Let me see.
That was maybe a mistake in my part. Maybe can't see that.
Right, one of them can't see a jumbo. This guy can't see a jumbo. Can't see anything. Another one's one hit. Right, I'll try that at 76.
I'll try and bounce it onto
Mistaken target.
mistaken target.
Yep. So it goes into jumbo. It'll be that guy there, I would imagine. So make it safe. Build it jumbo. So my HQ is also going to shoot one shot. Going to go for your HQ platoon. I get a hit. So see if you can stick it on your jumbo. Nope. So that'll go straight through this time.
Yeah.
Oh. Dear. Right. So that's just another bail. So far I've not actually killed a single tank, which says a lot for my firepowers. Right, over here now, these Panzer IVs are not all going to be shooting. I've got 3 from one platoon and 4 from another. All of them moved. Right, so this platoon first, long range. Yeah, long range, so concealment looking for 5. Shooting up. They get one hit. Now then, I can't see the jumbo from where I am. Well, this guy potentially could be able to fire over me to hit it, so it's got to be over here. So I think it's only 75 that they can see. So hitting a 75.
So 75. So 7, 8.
That's fine. And then another platoon, 2 shots. I'll do them separate.
He's got a clear shot. Has he got a clear shot?
No, you still have
Oh,
concealment.
I've got it.
In the hedge, yeah. That's been really well concealed. Another one gets 1. Now these are shooting up here, so they can potentially get a jumbo. So see if you can mistaken target it and then go, haha, I laugh at you. Right, so no hits there either. And that is going to be it for shooting. So recap then for turn 5, I think. So 1 platoon ran away, bad news. The curse of the bales on the reluctant guys. Got a big mass of tanks here. So in terms of shooting, what did I get? A couple of hits. 2 of them went on jumbos, so I got a bailed out jumbo and a bailed out 76. Now the jumbos they're matching their saves, so they're not riding their luck at all. But I maybe could have killed one there. Maybe could have done a bit better over there. So it's just in real danger of running out of tanks. If my side armour is threatened or I keep rolling 1s and 2s for these guys, then the objective is wide open. And they're keeping out of line of sight just now, because if he was to die, that would break the company in the absence of them.
The HQ.
Right, okay, 3 up. He's fine. Wee jumbo.
Jumbo is even in. Is it 6 inches?
6 inches, yeah.
So he's not decided.
3 up then. He's fine. And then you've got your wee guy around here. He's not fine. Right, reserves. Have you got any left?
No, I've not got any more reserves.
What a cheek.
No reserves. I've got everything's on.
US turn 5 movement. So Peter's going to have to move his Persians to get into line of sight, which will reduce his rate of fire. And around the church he's looking at what targets there might be for his Shermans to see if he needs to do any movement. And on the far side he's keeping his HQ and the reserve Sherman platoon stationary, because they've got targets. Shooting Peter.
Start with this platoon. He's going to have a shot
Right.
at these guys. Concealed shots at 3, 4, 5s.
6 for your
6 for stabilisers.
stabilisers because he moved.
So go for him. No, 3's not going to do it. He can't shoot. And then these two. Well,
I reckon you've got me in the
shots.
open from them, concealed from him.
Right, okay, so we'll go with 3 shots in the open from these guys up the road.
It's enough. Well, he moved.
He moved, yeah.
Alright, okay.
Oh,
then.
well, sorry, well, let's do them separately. So do him first, so it'll be.
Fours.
4s.
One hit, and then 5s.
For
Another hit, and then the jumbo on 5s again.
4 5s because you can see them.
Range conceal. Oh dear. Right, okay, so it's 3 hits.
3 hits.
Now that can spread over all of these, to be honest. Maybe not him. So we'll just go 1, 2, 3.
Right.
So first guy rolls a 6, rolls a 1, and then rolls a 2. So these are the chance to kill, 2 chances. So first guy, 5, and a 5. You should be rolling it in my magic tray that makes you.
It makes them jump out. Yeah, it works in the
It
tray
didn't
as
work
well.
anyway. Right, so 2 d.
So that's all them.
Right, now over here.
Now over here, let's do the. Let's try the piercings because they were rubbish the last time.
So short range, force. So 1 hit. So that'll be 14 against 10. 5. Right. You just can't save against 76s.
Yes. Okay. We'll go here. Let's target the
HQ.
HQ.
Okay.
Yes.
So force.
No.
75 can't really hurt them. Right.
So the 76 is. Will they go for the? Well, they maybe can't. Well, yeah, will they go for the HQ? That makes sense.
There's a chance to kill him as a platoon, then I'm down to those 3 plus the.
You could do a mistake and.
I will do. I'll try and join in, and then I'll try a warrior save. But it's a way of getting rid of.
Yeah. So go for him then. So
Right.
it's 3, 4, 5.
Double check if they're in short range of him actually, because he's a wee bit further back from them.
They were long range.
So maybe I go for the platoon.
Yeah. That's that within 16.
They should be. Some of them might be. Some might not actually.
One's not. One is.
Right. Okay. So
So the one that's long range. So that'd be 3, 4, 5s.
5s.
And then
Short range 4s. 1.
one hit.
Well, made a save that time.
So that's it then.
Right. Right. Forgot about the Calliope folks. So
So
Ranging
go
in
for
here.
5s to range in. 5.
I'll do it.
Gets
So
it.
first tank.
First time. No. Is 3 a hit? Yeah, for these guys. No. Yeah.
This guy.
Yep.
This guy.
No.
This guy.
No.
This guy.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So just get them out there now. Right. So. Oh dear. Chance to bail. Bailed out.
Right.
And you needed a 5 as well.
5, yes.
The front guy here is okay. One of the HQ is okay. The other HQ is okay. That's not bad. That's same potentially on a motivation. If he doesn't get back in.
Is that, who is that? Is that the
Platoon, you see. So that wasn't bad.
I forgot those were dead. Jumbo's get back in. The guy over there didn't. This platoon and the HQ decided to stay where they were to get shots at the Panthers. These had to move, and they a couple of them moved just to get shots. Managed to kill two Panzer IVs, and then the shooting over there.
Not very
Not
successful.
very successful. No damage done.
It was
so-
basically, he didn't get too many hits that time, basically.
No,
I mean, even these guys got 1 hit.
yes,
But then
the Calliope's
came in at the end, and it could be a bye-bye, good night.
Bail that.
So we'll come to that next, folks, because it'll be my motivation.
Yes.
This guy's got 1 chance to get a 4 up.
He gets it.
He gets a 5, so they are at least staying. and then my last reserves will arrive. German turn 6 movement, so my last reserves have arrived, the flame hitzers, and it's too congested for them to go directly towards the blue roofed house, so I'm going to have to go around a long way, which isn't ideal, but I don't really have too much of a choice other than risking 5 up cross checks on a hedge line. It's time for my infantry to debus. So the half tracks are moving through an alley between the houses, and infantry at the start of the movement phase are getting out, filling up the 2 houses either side of the half tracks here. So they're in a position to put down some fire on the US infantry, and from where they are they'll be able to launch an assault when the time is right. My Panthers and Panzer IVs won't be moving, they've got targets, so they're just going to keep firing from where they are. Right, so German shooting. I'm going to start with my company HQ shooting your company HQ. No, he won't.
Keep that up. You can keep that up.
He's been doing not too bad with the 1s and 2s. Right, this platoon against your platoon now. I think it might be in short range of...
yes, you're certainly short range of these 3.
Yeah. So that will be 3s.
Ooh.
That's a bit better. So 6 hits.
6 hits.
So I want to stick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to double up on a 76, so you can try and double up on a jumbo.
Yes, I'll try and double up on the jumbo.
Yep.
So these are 7s. It's going to go straight through these.
Yeah, short range. The ones at short range, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
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 And then.
Yep.
Yep. So they're all destroyed. This one.
Chance of bailing.
Chance of failing. So.
No. And the jumbo 2, you'll be 12 against 14. Oh, 2, just potential bails though.
Yeah.
Your jumbos have never actually made a save, I think, all game against them, but they've never failed either.
So this guy.
He's gone.
Destroyed.
And then the jumbo is laughing.
He's laughing. So
2 1s.
But he's the only one left.
Yeah. And I'm going to just do it whilst we're here. I'm going to try and shoot and scoot the Panther platoon and a 2. They're trained, so they manage that. Panzer IVs against Shermans. So we've got a platoon of 2 who are going to... Everything's at long range. Well, just 5. There's various things they can hit. I will need 5 to hit you though. I get 2. I want to target your 76, so you can try mistaken target.
You can't. Can you hit the?
Let me see.
Can you hit the?
I can only see him and the jumbo, so you can still potentially mistaken target it off.
Yeah, so I'll try and stake the jumbo.
No.
No.
So
it's
2 hits here, but you're 8.
8
at range.
So this one.
2.
And then this one.
6.
Bounces.
Right, so chance to kill one.
Trying to kill one.
Bailed, would you believe it?
He's double bailed though.
Oh, right. And he stays.
Stays bailed.
So I've got another platoon, which some moved and some stayed still. So it's going to be 6 shots altogether. 2 stationary, 2 moving. Just, oh wait a minute now. And this one can see a 76 and he misses. Right. The other ones are going to have to shoot up this channel. So it's 1 hit. I'm going to obviously go for a 75. You can try a jumbo.
Yeah, try jumbo.
Nope. So your armour go to 8.
7, 8, 8, 9, 10.
Got one. So I want to go for this one here. Right, and then this guy is going to have a go. Range, where's my tape measure hiding? Oh, there we go.
So who is he shooting at?
Target him, if I can get him in shot.
Where do you
From the vehicle. No, it's probably long, so I'll just go for 76. I'll do it, 6.
6.
So,
Well,
it's got to be the bailed one, it's the only one I can see.
let's go then. So, oh no.
You've rolled nothing but 1s and 2s for these guys. But
he's double bailed.
okay. not for leaving. Nightmare. Right, now there's going to be a bucket load of MG dice.
Right.
I'm going to do these first. I'll do this 4 times. From the half tracks into the house. So you guys are careful, eh?
Careful, yes.
That's 1, 2, 3. 3. So you've got 2 Zooks and a light machine guns. I want to try and get them. So you can try and swap off.
So the Zooks, try and bump off the Zook.
On the ordinary guy.
No, off the light machine gun.
Right, okay.
Onto the ordinary.
Oh no, that settles a lot of dice rolling. So save for your 2 Zooks. They're both the same really. You're fine in the light machine gun.
Oh, it's cocked.
It's fine. And then it's going to be 12. Do this twice. This is the eligible shots coming from Panzer Grenadiers. There's 1. This lot again. 1. I'll try and get the light machine gun.
Try and bounce it off the light machine gun.
Yep, and then you
Ordinary
save.
guy.
Oh, he's not very good at saving the light machine gun,
No.
but he's fine.
Yes.
So, turn 6, I think. So my last reserves have arrived. It's getting too chock-a-block over here. I could try and get up this road, but when I was setting the table up, I very unkindly put a hedge at the end. And you know, Hetzers can't do hedges. They just can't do them. So I'm going for a hook around here. Infantry have moved up, half-tracks moved up, put pressure on them. These guys pretty much stayed put. A little bit of movement to get a couple more dice. Panthers stayed put, and the Panthers actually managed to do something this turn. They've probably killed a platoon before they themselves are destroyed. And then over here, this guy here, I don't know how many times he's been bailed, but he's still bloody there. And I actually managed to kill one. Saves one very good over there. The long range front armour 7 against anti-tank 11 should be doing a bit better. These guys took quite a few hits, but no pins or anything. So it still very much came on for Peter to come back at me over this side, I think.
So let's get him back in.
He's in.
He's in. So he's in.
Swine.
So over here, my last stand for this guy.
He's a swine as well.
He's not got much. He's not going to do very much.
No, but add him to them, and then you've got 2 jumbos if you can attach them. Okay, so Calliope's try to range in on my Panthers to get all of them.
So 5 needed. No, 5 needed. No, this 5. Oh no.
Right. So
let's not do that then.
Next.
Let's go over here. Over here. So these 2 guys. I've got shots down the road.
They've got against this platoon of 4.
But they're hiding, aren't they? So
they've all got concealment now.
Concealment, yeah.
And range, so you need 5s.
5 to hit them, right.
That'll do it. I'm going to pass some saves here, or that force is gutted. So you've got 3 hits, I would say. It's probably got to be these 3 just because of where he is. So. Right, so that's going to be 2 potential bails because of long range and a kill.
So potential bail.
First one.
First one.
Bailed.
No.
Okay. And then potential kill is bailed. So 2 bailed. Remember. Oh no, the remake's actually not too bad. Right, and then.
So these guys.
You've got 1 can see.
Yes, so he'll shoot there and he'll shoot.
Any of this platoon here. Right, okay. So.
5s
again.
So we'll do this one first.
Right.
Down here, so 5s. You didn't move in what short distance? So
No.
Nope. And then the other one.
1 hit. So you can see here 1 guy who's not bailed out. So I'm going to try mistaken target.
Onto a bailed out one.
And I do. Which one am I going to go for? I'll put it on him. So that'll put me up to 7. Chance to kill him. Oh, he's a goner. I should really stick smoke on these because there's so many of them. I'll get smoke in a second.
So that's.
Right, and then over here.
Let's not do the Pershings first.
Right.
Let's do this guy.
So you're shooting at my HQ, I take it?
Well, yes. Is he short range? Short range. Yes. We've got HQ. So 3 4s.
Yeah. Cocked. Bugger.
So 1 hit.
4, okay.
14. And then
Now.
over here.
What's the daisy? Camera's kind of in the way.
Is it short, long range?
Just a long range.
Okay, so 3 4 5s.
Yeah.
5s.
Right.
1 hit. Oh.
14 chance to bail because it's long range. No.
No. Oh, dear me.
Right.
And I didn't range in, did I?
No. Are the infantry going to stay on the ground?
I think they will, yes. The motivations, this guy finally got back in, so he's back in, and then the last, the jumbo in this platoon here managed to save his last man standing, so he's moved over to here to try and protect the HQ. Nothing else moved. Over here, I managed to, what did I do? I managed to
Let me think. You got a kill and a
bail.
bail. It could have been more if I hadn't failed
Yeah.
past mistaken target.
And no damage over here.
Yeah, a couple of hits, but a couple of saves.
No,
So I've got motivation to do. He's got to get back in. Company commander is within range and he just makes it. So that's them not on the last stand. I've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, they wouldn't have been on the last stand anyway. And that's it for motivations. German turn 7 movement. As is often the case in what we call Mexican standoff kind of shooting moments in the game, folks, there's not a lot of movement other than my Hetzers moving up to get in a position to support or at least pave the way for the assault that I'm planning. Shooting. These guys against him, I can only see him,
right, okay.
but I'll need 5s. I don't know if they've hit anything at all recently. Right, and then there's another platoon of 3. I reckon they've all got a shot. Him through the corner, him through there. Right, but that's who I'm starting to target. Obviously, it'll expand beyond that, but that's my target point. Right?
Oof. 4.
4 hits. So,
what can you see? You see him?
let's see, him. Basically 1 each.
1 each.
So that one you can ignore.
Yeah, right.
So,
over here.
8 against 11.
19.
You failed another one. He's a corner.
Alright, guy.
That's another one. That's just utterly nuts. And he's a corner.
This is the turn where you get your revenge.
I think so. I've had all my 2s at the start and you've had all your 2s at the end. He goes, ha ha ha. I've got a 75mm gun and I'll teach you. Right. That means he's not got a target. He can shoot. The buildings. I think it's still a long range. Gets a hit.
It's a hit.
So 8 again against 11. Right, he's okay. Right, then over here,
This is where you're
my
up.
Panthers are going to have to go for your Persians. So I'm going to need 60s, so it's long range, concealed. How about just rolling 3 6s?
3 6s, that's the way to do it.
So 2 in one, 1 in another.
So it's 9.
Yep, 9 got up to 10.
So this one.
No.
And then the other one. Oh, no.
Bloody hell. First one's corner, other one's a corner. The 6s are just gone mad on my dice this turn. So the company HQ will go for your company HQ and you can choose to attach onto the platoon with a jumbo. And believe it or not, I managed to get 2 hits.
2 hits. So I'll try and.
So I'm going to.
So one's on the jumbo anyway.
Yep. So you can do the 76 onto the platoon, and you do. Right. So HQ jumbo.
HQ jumbo.
No, you can't roll above a 2. So the HQ and the platoon are both gone.
Oh god. Oh. So the two jumbos that went there.
Yep. That was
Yes.
out of control.
So, oh dear.
Right. There's still.
I've got one, two,
I think you've
3.
got 1 platoon, 2. Yeah.
3. I've got 3 in that.
Yeah.
But looking dodgy.
That was. Yeah. Same was. This seems to happen to you, Peter. At one point in the game,
Yes,
you just fall to bits. You just absolutely fall to bits. Because you were doing fine up to that point. I thought these were goners. Right, so, let me think. Try and do this a bit quicker. 1, 2, 3. Right, so the half track's going for in 60s. 2. So I'll try and get a light machine gun and a bazooka. You can try a mistaken target.
Take light bazooka. No, light
bazooka. Light machine gun,
yes,
right?
And then
the
off the bazooka.
Yep.
Right.
So 2 ordinary saves.
So the ordinary save and an ordinary save.
And you're
Yes,
fine.
so
Right, so 6, 3, that's 18. You roll this dice plus 2 for all the infantry that's shooting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So 1 light machine gun, 2 zooks, and an ordinary guy. So you can try and. What have you got in there?
The light machine gun.
You've got 1, 2, 3 ordinary guys.
I think at this stage I'll leave them on the bazooka. So I'll try and get them off the light machine gun.
Right. Oh no. So light machine gun.
Light machine gun.
Fine.
Right.
2 zooks.
2 zook.
Ordinary guy. Right, so 1's firepower. Nah. And I think
That then pinned, was that?
that'll be a pin, yeah. Yeah. 2 from the half tracks, 4 from the infantry. Well folks, turn 7 I think. That was just nuts. Peter's luck is just evaporated in this game. And my luck ranked up because I got so many hits. Like 3 hits out of 6 on 6s. There, that was really good going. So, you've seen what happened. Peter's now going to have to do a few motivations perhaps here and there and see if he can stop me taking an objective, because he may have lost a lot of stuff there, but he hasn't actually lost an objective yet. Okay, so motivation there, okay.
Okay.
Infantry?
Unpin the infantry. I think I get 5 for that.
I'll do. They might actually rally on a 4, they guys.
Yeah, well, so here we are with that.
Doesn't need a last stand actually.
It's HQ.
Because it's HQ.
That's it.
So your formation is the HQ,
HQ, the Calliops.
Calliops, and those 2.
And those 2.
So you maybe want to go in a defensive posture. US turn 7 movement, it's just what's he going to do with his HQ tank. Go around the flanks, maybe get some shots, but he's just not quite got the movement for it. So hide is the best option here. Try and keep his formation on the table.
Okay, so I'm going to try shooting these 2 at this platoon here.
Okay, so there's 2 no, in fact he probably can't see him.
We'll do it
Right.
separately. So I'll do the jumbo first.
Right. 5s. So 1 hit.
1 hit.
And the other guy.
guy.
No. So jumbo on either one of these.
Yeah, we'll go for this one.
Right. A5.
Ha. And then he's just going to hide the calories. Let's try and range in.
Right.
So, 5's required.
I'll do it.
That'll do.
So you can stick that way, you can get,
Yeah.
stick it like there.
Yes. That's a, yes.
Right, so first guy,
Yes, first guy.
second guy, third guy, and then HQ. Right, they're all hit.
Let's see
So-
if we bail them off. Let's see if we can bail them off.
First guy,
No.
second guy, third guy, HQ.
Do you have any ones in those dice?
I used them all for my fire pillars at the start. run out.
So that will be, that's...
So your infantry going to take on the ground?
Stay on the ground, yeah.
Right, okay.
Okay, movement. This my HQ is trying to hide. He's going to sneak up that way. Maybe try and get side shots in your tigers and the panthers, but they're not going to. No movement down here. The two remaining Shermans got, I think, one hit.
One hit, but saved.
Saved, yeah. So nothing there, and the infantry are not doing anything. They're going to stay going to ground.
And I've got to come and get them out of there, basically. German turn 8. Most things have targets, so there's not a lot of movement. I'll be bringing the Hetzers up, ready to do their thing next turn. And in the Panthers, I'm going to try and get that HQ as much as possible, but not all of the Panthers will get line of sight. So one of them is going to aim down range at the Shermans, the 5 Shermans beside the ruined church. So I'm going to start shooting with my Panthers against the HQ. Start with my own. My HQ first. I don't think you set anything on game. The other two, short range concealed. So 4 will do it.
4, but there might be, HQ might be, he's aggressive, yeah, he's aggressive. Yes.
So that'll be short range straight firepower. 5.
Oh.
So he's away. And then the one that's pointing backwards is going to try and shoot a jumbo down by the church. It's a 5. So you you're probably better keeping on the jumbo rather than sticking on him.
Yes, yes.
So you'll be 12 against 14.
12.
Again, Peter. He's fine.
He's fine.
Right, and then 2 of my Panzer IVs failed a cross check, by the way, to get into line of sight, so they've not got any shots. So I've got a platoon of 3 and a HQ. I'm going to start with the HQ.
Yeah.
This guy can only see him.
Okay.
And misses. This guy can see
both. Is he both?
Just that one.
No, that one. Okay.
Going up that way, and he gets a hit.
Yes,
so you'll be 8.
8.
Yeah, and you saved. At last. And then I've got 3. You get 2 hits, so it's going to be 1 each. So the jumbo will just laugh it off.
Right, so this one.
And he laughs it off as well. So, clobbering infantry in the house. Oh my goodness, this is from the half tracks. 6. That may be 1 each. Just 1 each.
1 each, so...
You got 2 Zooks.
2 bazookas. One
so
possible.
Potential. It's fine.
The LMG.
It's fine. And 4 infantry. You're fine.
Just.
Right, and then I'm going to do all of this again, plus 2 more. That's evened out a bit, that's 2. And then let me see, 2, 3. So this is from the next lot, so I'm going to do 2 Zooks and an LMG.
Well, I'll try and bump it off the LMG.
Right.
No.
So do you save for the LMG?
LMG, save.
2 Zooks. And you're fine. Hell of a lot of dice rolling for not very much, folks. So summarise that turn. Managed to get the HQ. Preparing for the flame assault. Didn't get anything over there. Finally, Peter managed to make his saves. Those guys died far too easy. But I should probably have a lot more dead, considering his anti-tank and his armour value. And tons of hits there. They're pinned, which might work in my favour, but if I've now got to come round and deal with them, I'm ready to assault them. But I need to maybe thin them down a little bit to stand a chance of getting in. Right, Peter, I think you've only got 1 motivation.
Yep, try and...
Whoops, and they get a 6, so they're fine. Right, Peter, you want to start your shooting?
Yes, the Calipes we can try and range in over here. Another 5. So first attempt, there we go.
Right, okay then, so you should be able to get that.
I think they can see... Yeah. You can see there, it should give them...
Potentially get everybody.
So start at this end.
Okay. Hit. 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 Hit.
Right, so roll some 1s, Frank, please.
First guy. Platoon. No. My dice have turned.
Yes, you get the dice going.
Okay, now.
Okay, over here, I've had 4 shots. I think it has to be at this platoon.
Yeah, looking for 5s. We'll just roll off 4 because there might be some fiddly bits, but it's not worth it. Hold on a minute.
Here we go.
Nothing.
Nothing.
And your
Infantry are just, they're going to stay there, yes.
So basically, you didn't do any movement because you just had everybody in place to shoot and didn't hit anybody. So I've got to come get you.
Yes,
Turn 9 movement for the Germans. The Panthers have got such a long range, you know, so they're just getting into a bit more of a position to shoot down range at the church. The square, I've cleared the way with the half tracks so I can move the flame hetzers up, ready for a flame attack followed by an assault. That's the plan anyway. Right, I'm going to start shooting with this platoon of two shots. Short range. I got 1 and a 2. I'm not entirely sure they'd be my most successful platoon. And then these guys here, platoon of 3. I'll tell you what, actually, I'm going to fire these Panthers first.
Right.
So, for goodness sake, 4.
4.
Yep. So we're going to be 2 each.
2 each.
So,
okay, we'll go for you can't stop.
no, because you've got to 8.
It's 8, okay, well, the 75.
Yeah.
8.
No. I'll just roll 5 powers. A 1 and a 1, so.
Double failed, so see whether he.
Yep.
No. He's gone.
And then the jumbo,
Jumbo.
12 against 14. Double 1!
Oh, he's going as well. Okay, that's that. You don't have to roast me.
I don't even get to use the flaming hits. Flaming hits, they are literally flaming hitsers, because that'll break the formation. That was just utterly bonkers crap saving throws. We'll go into a recap, folks. It's a bit more in depth than bonkers crap. So, before we get to a recap with myself and Peter, my own thoughts first of all about my list. I quite like it. It's got lots and lots of tanks and 2 very different kind of tanks as well, so that, you know, it's going to force your opposition to make choices. It did well in that game after a really poor start luck-wise. Peter then just had terrible luck, and it swung on the opposite side of the table initially from what I thought it would. But I think that it's quite a good list for that kind of game with the stuff flying around all over the place. It might struggle against a good solid defence line with lots of infantry dug in, perhaps with static anti-tank guns. That'll be hard to kill in direct fire because of the 3-up save. But there's a lot of tanks there, so you're just going to have to accept you're going to lose a lot in the process. It's not a careful veteran kind of force where you're going to carefully look after your assets. You're just going to have to get them stuck in. Anyway, let's go over to a recap with myself and Peter. There you go, folks. I thought when we first saw the list with you guys being aggressive against Panthers, I thought, oh no, this is going to be a terrible game, but it lasted a lot more than I thought. And if you crumbled, it was actually by the church, unexpectedly rather. It was by the church where you made all those terrible saves where you just needed a 3 to stay in the game, so to speak. If you were just rolling so many 1s and 2s. And then I maybe could have done something. Well, I probably would have done something over with the Panthers, but I thought you were going to be strong enough to hold me here. Yeah. So it was a weird. It gave very much a game of 2 halves.
Yeah. I felt most of my force was aggressive, and I thought I would get more tanks than that, but I didn't. So I struggled a wee bit. The game was up and down. I thought I did quite well to kill a Panther platoon early on, and I thought I was doing okay here when I destroyed some of your Panzer IVs. But then the tide turned, and you got a great
Yeah, and killed
firing
the
over here.
Persians before they could do anything.
You whittled these guys down eventually,
This-
with the help of the Panthers.
The Panthers kind of came in towards the end, yeah, but it was mainly to do with your own ones and twos.
Yes,
My firepower were twos in the early part of the game, but then your saves against my medium stuff was just terrible. But there you go. It was still a good game in as much as it turned in a moment, and it didn't quite fall off a cliff, so it wasn't too bad.
Yes, yes. And you didn't get a chance to roast me with the flamethrowers.
Up roll the hits. I say we've had to go the long way around, lads, but this house is still full. Anyway, there you go. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the game, folks, and thanks again for watching, as always. And as always, thanks if you're a subscriber, and if you're not a subscriber, if you do hit the button, it will help us get this kind of content to more enjoyers of Flames of War. And if you hit the bell button as well, so many buttons guys, but if you hit that bell button, you'll definitely see us on the next one. Cheers.
Bye.